croeso I ti yn y Butty.
Ti aca
Butty. Bloody lovely. Bloody marvellous it was. Welcome to Tea in the Butty with me, Dominic.
And me, Erica.
And today, if you haven't guessed, we're going to be talking about Wales. We just did a bad Welsh introduction there.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did. You're in this with me.
He tried to get me to do it, but I was just like, no, I'm not touching that. Hello.
Hello, a croeso.
A croeso.
How do you say welcome to Wales in Welsh?
Hello. A croeso. Wales.
Croeso I Cymru. Or as you say, Cymru. Cymru. Because when she saw it on the sign on the way in, you were like, Cymru. It says Cymru.
Okay. Before we start
and get into talking about Wales, and if you don't know, it's a country or principality or autonomous region, depending on whose side you're on, in the United Kingdom.
Okay. I will make it
to the west of England.
I'll make a confession now.
Confession time with Erica.
Back in, when did I meet you? 2007. I was just a silly young girl.
Silly young Texan girl.
And I started talking to Dominic, and he told me he lived in Wales, and that meant nothing to me.
So yeah, because I remember she said, where do you live? I was like, well, I live in the UK. I said, I live in Britain. She's like, well, where do you live? Whereabouts in Britain? Is it close to London? Where do you live? And I was like, no, it's about 4 hours away. It's in Wales. It's a little town called Llanelli in Wales. And I was just near Swansea. And you were just
blink.
Just like, what's Wales?
Yeah.
Like the prince. I thought you're saying about the Prince of Wales.
Well, yeah. I mean, I had always heard of the Prince of Wales, obviously, like, Princess Diana and the Prince of Wales and all of this, but I didn't know what Wales was. I knew it wasn't Wales. Like, I think actually when I was a kid, I thought it was the actual animal, the whale.
Whale, yeah, with an H. But this isn't. This is Wales.
Yeah.
So Wales. I think I've actually seen people pronounce it Wales over here.
I'm making myself sound so stupid, and I really apologize because I'm college educated, but
not geography educated.
This is a really sad statement about our geography lessons throughout our school life, because I do not remember ever learning where Wales is.
You just learned American geography, surely, where the states were, because you had a little song, didn't you?
Yeah.
Do it.
No.
Can't remember that song now. It's very embarrassing to me.
No, but I just didn't know Prince of Wales. I didn't know what Wales meant, though. It was like, okay, later
Prince
on.
Prince of Wales.
Later on, I knew it was Wales, but I still didn't know I didn't know what it was. I didn't think about it either. I didn't wonder what it was. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's just like Prince. Oh, he's the Prince of Wales. Okay, go on about my business.
Go on about my business, my little business here in Texas. Just being all cute.
Yeah. So Dominic's like, oh, I'm from Wales, and it's to the west of England, and I was just like, what? I had to really look it up, because I was like, I didn't know there was anything west of England. It's like, what are you talking about? That Wales is a country? What? So this is the podcast for those of you who may be like me and have no idea what Wales is, let alone the fact that it's a country in Britain.
Yeah, we've got some top 10 facts here too, as well.
Okay, so you want to go ahead with those?
Well, you can read them out if you want. Or
okay, this comes from theschoolrun.com.
Theschoolrun.com.
This is very official.
It's top 10 facts for kids, so, this is very, very beginner stuff, Key stage 1.
Intro, yeah. Okay, the first one is Wales is surrounded by the sea on 3 sides. Yeah. That's because it's
correct.
It's on the very edge of England.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess. Because there's just a little strip of sea in between the bottom of England that juts out, right? It juts out below Wales.
Yes, it's the 7 it's like the Severn estuary. It's I mean, it's part of the North Sea, I guess, or the Atlantic. I mean, I'm not really sure. I mean, what the techno, but there's a bridge that gets into Wales. That's how you know you get it going into Wales, as you drive into Wales, and you go across the Severn Bridge because it's on the River Severn, and that kind of like.
And there's a picture of Bob Dylan in front of that bridge, isn't there?
Well, when it was being built, because there was a ferry across from England to back in those days in the 60s. There was a ferry across to, I don't know where it was, across the river, across the sea, across the estuary. And that's the famous photo of him standing on the quay. Call it a quay. It's like a dock.
Quay. Pronounced key for some reason.
Waiting for the ferry, and his manager or whatever is with the van in the background. And, I thought it was I didn't know where it was taken, Yeah. But it was like 1964, 65 tour or whatever he was on.
Yeah. And they used it on the cover of
No Direction Home.
No Direction Home, yeah.
And you can see just in distance the Severn Bridge getting built.
Yeah, that's so weird and random.
Yeah. And that was the bridge now that's, across into Wales.
I don't know, yeah. So
I didn't know what bridge.
I didn't know what Wales was. I didn't know. I just especially didn't know they had like their own language.
Well, yes.
And that is one of the facts on this website, that Welsh language. Okay, I'm gonna pronounce Welsh. I mean, I'm going to spell it. Sorry,
no,
not pronounce
it.
No, I'm going to
attempt it. Everybody wants you to pronounce it.
I'll try to attempt it. I mean, I'm going to pronounce it the way it reads, and then you can say how it's actually pronounced. It is spelled Cymraeg. I just want to go back for a second because I'm making myself look really foolish. But we have to remember, like in 2007, YouTube wasn't that huge yet.
Well, it doesn't
there
matter.
Was no, it doesn't have.
There was something called books.
No, but I think a lot of Americans know
and television.
A lot of Americans know a lot more.
Back in 2007, in those days, before things like Instagram and YouTube and Twitter and all that existed, it was terrible.
Social media,
the dark ages.
Social media, YouTube. I mean, podcasts were very new. The information was not as readily available on the internet. I mean, you could Google, I suppose.
Yeah, you could.
You could Google and find it out. But if you
Google was pretty new back in 2002, even. But yeah, I digress.
But anyway. So it's like, I feel like nowadays people know a lot more about, like you see those memes of Welsh names of places and words and everything, and they're going, oh, this is the longest name of a town in the world, or whatever, or whatever, and everybody's kind of seen that now because they get passed around. Whereas back in 2007, that didn't happen. So cut me some slack, okay?
Just cut me some slack.
Anyway, going back. Cymraeg. That's the Welsh language. And
that's Welsh for Welsh.
That's Welsh. Okay, that's Welsh for Welsh. And looking at that, Cymraeg, I would say Cymraeg. Cymraeg or Cymraeg. Okay.
Almost with the second one.
And now you say it.
It's Cymraeg.
Cymraeg.
The
Welsh language is the oldest language in Britain. It could be up to 4,000 years old.
4,000 years. Well, you're doing your Game of Thrones thing there. That's another thing on here. There's another fact. The Mabinogion. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Mabinogion. It's a collection of Welsh traditional stories that's over 1,000 years old. And it features dragons, giants, enchanted trees, and brave heroes and heroines. What does that sound like to you?
Yeah. Like, do you Do you remember any of those stories? I mean, you weren't really like a little kid in Wales.
I went to my gran lived in Wales when I was little.
But I mean, you didn't like go to elementary school in Wales.
Not really, and when I did, it was a terrible time. But that's for another podcast.
So, but I mean, maybe if you had, you would have like grown up more with the stories. Do you know any of them offhand?
No, not really.
No.
I mean, the Welsh flag is pretty cool because it has a dragon on it.
The Welsh flag is the best flag, I think.
It's the best flag.
Yeah, it is.
And it's the best flag ever. It's green, white, and red.
Yeah.
And the dragon is red, and there's like a green thing. You know, if you just look it up, it's really cool.
Yeah.
You know, and it's all over Wales because, I mean, they're very proud of their country.
Yeah.
But it's not on the British flag, you know. It's kind of like represented with the red.
With the red stripe. Yeah.
With a red stripe, but you know, people are like, well, maybe you should just stick a dragon on there. But
that would be good. Yeah, they should. They definitely should. Wales covers an area of 20,742 square kilometers.
Yeah, it's pretty small, but
yeah,
it's about the size of. I don't know what to compare it to the size of over here. Don't know which state.
New Jersey.
I mean, it's about, it's probably
it's
about...
Sort of shaped like New Jersey, too, when you think about it. Like,
yeah, it's a little bit. It's a bit like New Jersey, actually, funnily enough. And you have to have a bridge to get into New Jersey, too, if you're coming from New York City.
It's bigger than New Jersey.
Well, a little bit, yeah.
But yeah, you know, I think that the landscape is really... I'll preface? Yeah.
Preface.
By saying that I have not been to North Wales, though I went to, yeah. But I've seen it. And I think the landscape is quite different for being a relatively small
Because I lived in
area.
South Wales when I was growing up. And, you know, that's the more populated region of Wales is South Wales. Everyone lives in the south.
That's where the bigger cities are.
The biggest cities, and Cardiff is there, the Welsh capital.
Yeah, Cardiff is really great, you guys. I want to. I think maybe we should do a travel series sometimes where we
talk about Cardiff and nothing else. Other cities in the world, just Cardiff.
We just talk about like each episode is a city, and we talk about because I think a lot of people go to Britain and they don't even consider Wales.
They don't consider anything.
But outside of London.
Outside of London. I mean, we were watching that awful bloody Crisley Knows Best the other day, weren't we?
Oh, God.
And people and if there's any fans of that, I'm so sorry, but it's terrible. It is absolutely terrible.
It's really bad.
Crisley Knows Best. Yeah. And I mean, they're just a family with a lot of money and bad acting skills.
Yeah, terrible.
Well, they went to London because, they got the money to. And... They were in London, and then they decided, we're going to go out into the country.
Yeah, which they don't really say where they are.
They didn't really say where they are because it's like everything outside of London is just the country, It's like there's no other cities, nothing else, It's just green and pleasant land.
Yes. But if you leave London and you keep going west, you will eventually run into Cardiff.
Yeah, you'll eventually, about 4 hours.
It's sort of, yeah. And Cardiff is really, really cool. It's a really pretty city. It's a college town.
Yeah, there's a university there.
And it's just really, there's a castle. It's really good, yeah.
There's a castle, and yes, when we first went to Cardiff, that was your thing. It was like, the castle, just walking along the street, and there's a castle there.
It's just there. It's so weird. Britain is weird, you guys. Britain's just weird. Wales has a population of just over 3 million people.
Yeah, that's not much.
That's not so much.
What's the population of Texas?
What do they say? Don't they say
that's the population of Austin, isn't it? About 3 million.
No, maybe with like the surrounding suburbs and towns. But no, I don't know. No, I don't think so. What do they? Don't they say something like, for every person there's 3 sheep or something?
Yeah, well, in Wales, there's
like a big
there's a lot of farmland in Wales, and there's a lot of sheep.
As in Northern Ireland and Scotland, Wales has its own devolved government. Because Wales, Dominic was looking this up earlier, and apparently people can't agree whether Wales is a country or Scotland is a country.
Yeah.
I don't understand this, like, discussion. I mean, it's a country, right? It's a country.
It's a country, yeah.
That's in the United Kingdom, sort of like we are each individual states in this country, but we're all still, I don't know. Yeah, it is weird, but I think it's a country. I mean, it's got a government, but it's got a
I mean, this is one of the facts. It's after many battles to maintain independence, Wales was annexed by the English in the 13th century and politically united with England under the Tudor monarchs.
Okay.
So, you know, when you, yeah, I mean, that's true because it's still that way today. England and Wales, you know? They never say England, Scotland and Wales, you know? It's just like, oh, from England and Wales, you know?
Yeah.
When you're in England or Wales, you know, Scotland's kind of on its own.
Yeah.
In that thing, and it's still very much like, you know, on its own.
I mean, because Scotland, they've got their own money, don't they?
Yeah, they've got their own money.
Yeah.
I had relatives in Scotland. It's a Scottish pound note for anyone who's wondering. And when I had relatives in Scotland, you know, up in Scotland, they'd send me money in a card, and it would be a Scottish pound note, and I'd be like, Scottish £10 note or something, you know, and I'd just be like, the Royal Bank of Scotland.
You know what I love, though? This is total change of subject. I mean, still Welsh related, but I love that they speak Welsh in Wales, though.
Yeah. There's like activists
not
who
so
want to
much
keep it
in the
like
South.
alive, you know. No, well, not so much in the South really, but in the North it's more common to speak it.
Because as that fact said, it could be up to 4,000 years old. It's the oldest language in Britain because English obviously was not the native tongue of Great Britain.
That's something that's come over many years.
It would have been like a Celtic language, and then that sort of evolved into Welsh over in the West. And I appreciate the fact that they want to continue to use it, and because it's like that's really cool. That's actual like native history. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I sort of equate it to, I don't know if I should even say this because I can just see like arguments
Just equate it. Just equate it.
No, it's like.
Do it.
In this area, right, where we live now in Texas, it was all Spanish speaking.
Yeah.
You know, they try to say, oh, you're in America, you should learn English. It's like, well, guess what? This was not America all the time.
It was not America all the time.
No. For many, many years, for a very long time, it was Spanish speaking. So people who have, I mean, you know, everybody who was born here speaks English. But they might also speak Spanish, especially if they have a history in this state. And that's okay because this used to be a Spanish speaking place. And I think the same is true in Wales. I mean, you know, they'll probably speak English. They probably can speak English, but if they don't
want to.
But if they don't want to, why should
I mean, my great aunt, actually, my Auntie Marion, she prefers to speak Welsh. I mean, she speaks English, obviously, but usually she'll prefer to speak Welsh. I've seen her just.
That's okay, isn't it? I mean, Welsh is the native language.
It's the native language, yeah. I mean, she speaks Welsh to her cats, and they understand it. You know?
Yeah, that's cute.
That's what she used to do. She'd be like, "Oh, dir a man now, Lottie, dir a man," which means like, "Come on," you know.
Yeah.
And she just starts speaking Welsh, and the cats would like, "Oh yeah," because they don't know
because
it's
funny. I didn't know. You know, okay, I didn't know what Wales was. We've established that. I knew Ireland and Scotland, obviously, but I didn't realize. I thought Scottish and Irish, I thought those were just accents. I didn't realize that they too have their own languages.
Yeah, Gaelic.
Yeah.
There's Irish Gaelic and Scots Gaelic.
Yeah, so that's just crazy and naive American.
Well, I mean, over here, I don't know what it is. I mean, people just didn't.
English, you know.
People just didn't. They didn't learn about other cultures and stuff, you know, really.
Yeah.
Or it was very big. It's arrogance. It's arrogance, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
we just don't find it necessary. Oh, it doesn't affect us, you know?
Yeah.
It's not as if we're going to ever go there to those places, you know?
No, just don't. Well, it's like that Crisley knows best.
Oh, God.
Remember what he said?
My daddy. Yeah.
My
My daddy used to always tell me not to leave the States or something. Keep your ass in the States.
Keep your ass stay in the States.
Yeah, something like that. Oh, God.
So, yeah, he was very awful tourist. But, yeah, another one.
The longest and fastest zip wire rides in Europe are in Bethesda, North Wales. And we think that this is something that we've seen in a YouTube video before.
Yeah.
Up in the slate mines.
The old slate quarries, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like that. I mean,
Just go across
I've
the
never
quarry
wanted to really do zip lining or anything like that. I've never really had.
I think if I was going to do a zip lining, nothing against Wales, because I mean it's beautiful. But if that is where it is, we've seen it on YouTube, and there's not a lot to like really look at.
No, it's just a slate mine. It's just looking at an old abandoned quarry.
Yeah. So if I was going to zip line, I think I would rather do it somewhere like Costa Rica or somewhere like through a jungle where there's going to be stuff to look at while I'm on my way. You know, maybe zip line over a waterfall or something.
Well, yeah.
The Welsh national game is rugby.
Yeah. Oh, you know that.
Yeah.
You've been to Llanachley, Llanachley Scarlets.
Okay, we're saying Llanachley. It's Llanelli. That's how it's spelled.
Yeah.
And pronounce it again for them.
Llanachley.
Llanachley.
And it's near Swansea. It's about 30 minutes away from Swansea.
You say most English people pronounce it like Llanelli.
Llanelli. Oh, there's Machynlleth.
Yeah.
Which is, people will call it McKinleth, because it's...
That's how it's spelled.
Yeah,
well,
it's English people. Llanelli and Swansea and...
The deepest cave in Britain, you pronounce this.
Oh, I have no idea how to pronounce it. Funyan, yeah. Funyan. Tha, it might be.
Ogof. Ogof.
There's a lot of consonants.
Yes, they do not have enough vowels. It's Ffynon.
Funnin, I say that is fun, like Funyan.
Funnin.
You've got to do that old Welsh person.
DDD. Listen to this. The last word of this word is DDDU. Just pronounce that for me, will you,
I think it's da.
How do you get da from DDDU? Is there anybody Welsh listening? Tell us how to pronounce it.
Some Welsh speakers here. But it's in Wales, obviously. It's 1,010 feet, 304 meters deep.
That's very cool.
Yep. And it's well known for its hills and mountains, Wales.
My mom just took a trip in the end of last year, and they went to Liverpool because we're all big Beatles fans. And
Beatles reference there for you.
Beatles reference, yeah. And one of these days, we're going to have to create some sort of contest where everyone goes through. You have to go through and count all the different podcasts that we have a Beatles reference in. And we'll put together some sort of prize. Let us know in the comments or tweet.
The prize will be tea and a butty.
Or tweet us. Oh, God. I shudder to think what a buddy would be like through the mail once they receive it.
Very squished. Very slimy.
Let us know if you would be into that. I mean, it may require you having to go back and shudder, listen to some of the other podcasts that
yes, you can do it. You know you love it.
But
someone's listening to it every day on a repeat loop.
Anyway, she went to Liverpool. Liverpool is it's in the north of England, if you're not a Beatles fan and have no idea where it is.
Wales, actually.
Yeah, so it was only like an hour and a half drive, I think, from North Wales, and they decided, we were like, you should go. My mom is like us. She likes to travel around and see new places all the time. Yeah. So she was like, what else can I go see? So Dominic and I looked and we were like, oh, it's only like an hour and a half from North Wales. You should go into Wales and,
Snowdon,
take another country off of your list of places you've seen. Yeah. And so they did that, and that ended up being, I mean, they loved Liverpool.
The highlight.
They loved Liverpool, but they were in North Wales in Snowdonia National Park. in the fall when everything was
Yeah.
changing colors, and they were like totally enamored. I think they want to go back there. They were like, oh, both of them. They were like, that was the best part of our trip.
Yeah,
it was
they did
so
love it.
beautiful. Yeah.
Snowdon, and it's like it's a mountainous region, so it's a lot of like unspoiled. I think it might be an AONB, which is what? What is an AONB?
An
Erica?
AONB. They certify places in Britain as AONBs, and it stands for Area of Outstanding Natural Beauty. Now, isn't that cute?
Very cute.
Yeah, so now I really want to go North Wales and Snowdonia and see Mount Snowdon and yeah.
And see Lord Snowdon while you're at it. But yeah, they really loved it, didn't they?
Yeah,
they was obsessed
and the
with it.
pictures were absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Loving
like
it.
Fog and then just
They
all the
didn't- they-
colors and
they went to-
waterfalls and
They stopped in Conwy and the Conwy Castle,
Yeah.
and you definitely want to go there
Yeah,
because you
yeah.
love castles.
I love medieval castles.
Medieval
well.
castles. That's one of the things she said to me when she first got. I want to see castles.
Wait, what do you want to see? What do you want to do when you come over here? I want to see castles. That's like
what
my
she
main
goes,
objective.
I want to see castles. I want to see these castles that people keep talking about.
Castles. Well, we
That-
don't have castles here. Do
I've
we?
seen them in Disney films, but I just want to see them in real life now.
Yes. The Welsh are descendants of the ancient inhabitants of Britain, known as the Celts. I think we sort of already covered
we've
that.
sort of already gone.
Yeah.
And nearly a quarter of the population can speak Welsh. Most Welsh speak.
That's not much, though. Really.
That's not much,
Quarter.
no.
Yeah, that's kind of sad. They should. Didn't you say they require it in school though?
It's a requirement, to learn it. Yeah, I mean, I only learned a few words.
But learning it doesn't mean you can speak it.
No,
really,
I
does
mean
it?
it was pretty bad. Yeah, I mean I
Yeah.
can't really speak it. Most Welsh speakers live in the north and southwest. There's a real effort to preserve the Welsh language. The Welsh language television station SC4 broadcasts
News
in Wales.
Welsh for life.
Yes, that's what it
Beatles
is.
reference.
There's another Beatles reference for you, which is the Welsh
It
channel.
doesn't even sound like they're saying real words. It just sounds like
Because I put it on for you one day, didn't
Yeah.
I?
You put it on, and I'm just like, he could be saying absolutely anything.
Well, no,
Like,
it's funny because my dad once told me, I think it was, I don't know who it was. I think it was his Uncle Eddie,
Mhm.
who's sadly no longer with us. But he said, I was watching the news in Welsh one day, and I was like, I'm sure they're making half of this up. Half of the words, it's like they're making half of this up.
It just sounds like nonsense.
Because they can speak Welsh, they could speak it fluently.
Yeah. That was one thing about going to Britain. You always hear, oh, it's raining all the time. And yes, it rains.
It's raining somewhere in the country all the time. But
it rains pretty much every day, but just sort of like it does on an island.
It's like
Just
a
for little bit
watering.
during the
It's like a
day.
watering. Something's watering the island. It's just like it needs to be watered.
Yeah, like it rains for a little bit every day, but it's not going to spoil your plans. Like you're still going to be able to be outside if you want.
I mean,
to
unless
be or
it's
need
like
to be.
completely. I mean, it's like one of these days where it's like, oh god, there's so much.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not raining. But that's what you think of about Britain. It's raining like that
Yeah,
every
it's
single day, and
raining
it's
all
not.
the time. But it's like, it's like if you're coming from like a sunny place like Texas, where it hardly ever rains, and it's like the summer months are brutal and stuff, then it's going to be like, oh, there's a little bit of a shower. It's raining now. It's raining. Oh no, it's raining for 30 minutes. Oh, and then it'll stop.
People like to sing in Wales.
People like to sing in Wales. That's the next one. And, Tom Jones obviously was born there.
Yeah, let's talk about some famous people from Wales.
Charlotte Church.
Ioan Griffith,
Ioan Griffith.
who is known for Hornblower.
Catherine
and
Jenkins.
Fantastic Four movies.
Max Boyce. He's probably the biggest one.
Didn't you tell me? I thought you told me
Max
Anthony
Boyce.
Hopkins
Worldwide.
is Welsh.
Anthony Hopkins is Welsh, yeah.
Yeah.
But Max Boyce is bigger than him. You know who Max Boyce is, do you?
No, I have no idea.
No one does except Max Boyce. Yeah,
Who
but
else? Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Catherine Zeta-Jones, yeah, the big one there.
Yeah, she's Welsh.
Yeah.
Seems like there was some more. What about older actors? There was somebody else. Richard Burton.
Richard Burton, yeah. He was very into, Dylan Thomas,
Okay, yeah.
another famous poet.
Yeah.
And he was very into Dylan Thomas. And
which is where Bob Dylan took the name from, isn't it? So maybe he wanted to go to Wales. Like, I wonder if he went over to Dylan Thomas's house.
Maybe. Yeah. I've been to Dylan Thomas's house.
Yeah,
The Lawn, the boathouse, and yeah, it's quite a pilgrimage. I was there when I was about 9.
Yeah.
And they've got his boathouse where he did all his writing, and it's been largely untouched since he died.
Yeah.
So you can look in, and you can see all the bottles and beer and whatever all over the floor, and it looks like he just left it,
Yeah.
There's Mermaid Key in Cardiff Bay.
I was just
Cardiff
looking at that
Bay.
too. We really need to talk one of these days about why you guys insist on pronouncing the word Quay as
it's an
key.
It's an ancient term for maritime people.
Oh my gosh. Seaside town of Tenby, the Brecon Beacons,
Llandudno. There you go.
Welsh villages. Llandudno.
Tenby is so lovely. You'd like Tenby when we go there. That's in South Wales, Southwest Wales. It's in Pembrokeshire.
Oh yeah.
And it's like a real, everybody goes there because it's really nice. When it's summertime, it's like, it's a great attraction,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would like to go anywhere around Wales and see things.
Yes.
More castles.
We need to plan a Welsh road trip, so.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments section.
Let us know in
the
comments.
Website or on YouTube.
On YouTube.
Or on Facebook. If you've ever been to Wales.
Yeah.
If you knew about Wales before this podcast.
If you didn't know about Wales, it's okay, because we've now taught you everything you need to know about Wales.
Yes, well. Oh my gosh. Okay. I think we've
Welshed this up.
Yeah, we've Welshed it right up.
Welshed it out. Welsh out of it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Do all the things.
Do all the things.
You know
Follow
what
us
to
on
do.
Twitter,
Yeah.
Instagram, all that great stuff.
Yes.
And prepare for the next episode. It's not going to be about Wales.
No.
We might do another thing about Cardiff or something one day, but
Someday.
yes,
Someday in the future.
we will.
We love you.
We love you.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.